5. And it's part of the reason why they've got 10 wins and began this season 8 for 8. Taylor Donaldson, who we've already mentioned, is in the Fordham starting lineup, which is good news, somewhat surprising news, because she's been sick the last couple of days. We thought maybe she'd start the night off the bench, but she's out there to begin, and as far as we know, she'll play as much as possible through that sickness. Taya Davis has the ball right now, turning the right side of the lane, and a little follow isn't going to be too strong from her. Emma Wilson-Saltos rebounds and puts it back in to give Fordham the first points of the night.
Yeah, and Emma Wilson-Saltos coming off her first career start with Fordham, got into double figures, 10 points, now getting her second start. They're going to need that for this scoring punch.
Shea Harris is the other player, the last player in Fordham's starting 5. Budnick's first touch comes against Donaldson. Allie Sweeney, a sophomore point guard, controlling for the Spiders. Budnick high-low with Dugan, and that's Richmond's first hoop.
And that's what Richmond's going to look to do, attack the paint with this high-low and their bigs who can pass well. They have an advantage over the smaller Fordham.
Pick and roll this time from Davis to Murua, and a quick start for the Rams on offense. As you see, they're starting 5 on the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, and with Taya Davis back in the fold in the starting lineup, their best passer, she's already had 2 good pick and roll actions, which led to points.
Averages just under 4 assists per game. This is Sweeney underneath for Richmond, backing it out for Olstrom. 12 to shoot for Katie Hill. All alone underneath was Budnick. It goes out to Dugan, corner 3, spins out to Wilson-Saltos. Aaron Roussel, the Richmond head coach, kind of shrugged on that pass out. I don't think Budnick realized that she was all alone on the block. Murua trying a 3 now, just grazes front rim. Richmond coming off a 55-37 win in their A-10 opener at home over Dayton on Sunday. Not the first time they have completely smothered a team defensively. Nice pass again from Budnick. This time Olstrom gets the bucket.
Yeah, and Wilson-Saltos trying to draw the charge there, but nothing doing. Great job by Budnick staying with it. A nice drop-off pass.
Wilson-Saltos backdoor, and Murua has 4 early points, and the Rams jump back in front.
Great pass there by Wilson-Saltos. Addie Budnick caught ball watching, and Murua able to use that backdoor cut.
This is a Richmond defense that gives up just 57 points per game. Third best field goal percentage defense in the A-10. Budnick across the lane and to the free throw line. Felicia Young makes this call. Ray Bullock and Scott Berkins, the rest of our officiating crew. As Caleb Berry comes in for Emma Wilson-Saltos, so very quickly to her bench goes Bridgette Mitchell. And with Budnick at the line, my friend, give us your keys to the game for her Spiders.
Oh, we've got the keys. Let's start attack the paint area. We saw that just now over the last couple of possessions with Addie Budnick. Fordham gave up 36 points in the paint to UMass last time out, and they're giving up 30 points over this losing streak. Secondly, influence jump shots. Fordham is second to last in the A-10 and 3-pointers made. And aside from Taylor Donaldson, nobody on this team shoots over 30% from downtown on a minimum of 10 attempts.
Shea Harris misses her right wing 3, so the Rams are 0 for 2 from downtown. Davis pestering Sweeney in the backcourt. Post touch for Budnick, looking for a teammate. It's Olstrom cutting, and Murua reaching in is called for the personal. And now it's the keys to victory for Bridgette Mitchell's clan.
And for Bridgette Mitchell, first and foremost, 8 or late. That is the nickname I've dubbed this offense before the season started.
You've dubbed it.
I've dubbed it
Okay.
8 or late. Bridgette Mitchell talked about
trademark on
wanting
that bad
to
boy.
score, as I should, wanting to score within the first 8 seconds of the shot clock. If they hold on to possession for longer than that, if it becomes more methodical, that only plays to Richmond's advantage. Aside from that, limiting the turnovers. Right now, Fordham is giving as good as they're getting. They're forcing over 20 turnovers a game, but they're giving it up 19 times. It's just hard to sustain the up-court tempo, that up-tempo pace, when you're giving as good as you're getting.
56th in America in turnovers forced. Number 284. in terms of giving up turnovers.
And Bridgette Mitchell talked about the unforced errors and just bad passes right there. A little too high of an entry pass from Taya Davis to Shea Harris, and it goes off her hand. Turnover for Fordham.
A little more than 3 minutes gone by here in the Bronx. The Spiders have this 2-point lead. Sweeney around some screens. Stasi Veljovic, who just came in, picked her up. Budnick catches in the paint against Berry. Bodies up. Defends well. And the Spiders will keep it 9 to shoot.
And Kayla Berry, she is one of these energy players, comes off the bench and defensively is willing to guard anybody right here. Brings the hands down just a bit, but stays vertical enough where the officials don't call the foul.
And that's a turnover by the Spiders, who were sloppy their last time out. Only 55 points in beating Dayton over the weekend, because they turned the ball over 24 times, and a very odd number of those early were offensive fouls from Aaron Russell's team.
Yeah, very uncharacteristic. That about 17 turnovers right now this season. Certainly something they want to clean up now that you've entered conference play.
He said, our offense is very good and efficient when we keep the ball. Veljovic hoists. Too strong from downtown. A good box out lets Sweeney come and get the board, and now she pushes. Dugan, right down the lane. Davis knocked it away. It comes back to Dugan. Shot clock to 20. Budnick to the air and down for 3.
And that's where the shooters of Richmond can hurt you on a broken possession. Looks like Taya Davis has gotten the steal on Dugan. Dugan recovers. Budnick wide open at the top of the key.
Davis now on offense. It ends up on the wing for Donaldson. Tight D from Katie Hill. Murua gets in the paint and sweeps that one in. She's got 6. Fordham's down 3. And as we look at all of those 8 players, 5 Spiders, 3 Rams, waiting to come into this one. Allie Sweeney splashes the 3. There are a lot of Allie Sweeney fans here tonight. The Sparta, New Jersey native. The loudest applause for any of the 10 players during pregame starting lineup introductions. Again, the 2-woman game, and again, it's Davis to Murua. She's got 8, and again, Fordham's been 4.
Taya Davis has been crisp in pick-and-roll situations. Great pocket passes is right here. A collision between players. It looks like Kayla Berry might have gotten the worst of it.
Yeah, she needs a second to recover from that. She stepped in to Budnick. That was a heavy collision. Berry's still not up yet, with a timeout on the floor just past the midpoint of quarter number 1. And the 10-win Spiders have the early lead. Back-to-back threes, the second one from Sweeney, almost back at home for the Jersey native.
In our hectic lives,
let's put mental health first.
Whether you're a sister, brother,
friend, student, or athlete, remember,
strength lies in speaking up about your feelings.
Focus on what you can control
and let go of the rest.
Your value isn't defined by achievements
or challenges.
Seek help when you need it.
It's always available.
Join the A10 in making mental well-being a priority.
And take a time out.
Take a time out. Take a time out for mental health.
Welcome back to A10 Hoops Talk, Beyond the Paint. All right, Phil Martelli, we got a couple big ones coming up right now.
I wanted to play in the Big 5 for Coach Chaney, and I wanted to play in the Atlantic 10. It's what I grew up watching.
I think the league is in great shape. You have so many schools really committed to basketball.
I believe my first year or two, I think it was an average of like 5 teams got in the NCAA tournament.
My question would be state of the game, state of the conference, and state of the profession.
I'm a trendsetter.
In the Atlantic 10, every night is a battle. Fierce talent that defines greatness. Elite coaches, extraordinary talent, a relentless drive to be the best. With 6 teams in the postseason last year, we're just getting started. A10 women's basketball. Strength, competition, tradition. The Atlantic 10. Experience the excitement.
What am I looking forward to in life?
Definitely college. Maybe like something with robotics.
I want to make people happy with my art.
I think that I can kind of handle anything.
I want to be a firefighter, a princess, a doctor.
York Presbyterian will always be part of my story.
Thursday night hoops in the Bronx as Fordham hosts Richmond in their A-10 home opener. League play began over the weekend at UMass. Fordham had reeled off 4 straight wins, then went to California, lost twice, then went to Amherst and lost this one in a game that was within reach going through 3 quarters. You've already mentioned the turnover issues for Fordham. And again, a good game from Taylor Donaldson. Finding secondary support remains one of the main keys for them offensively.
Yeah, and moving forward defensively, they allowed UMass to shoot 57% from inside the three-point line, and Ali Palmieri had 30 points, a career high for her, especially being the lone source of three-point shooting. But aside from that, just on both ends, really sloppy play, and as you noted, aside from Taylor Donaldson, nobody else was able to establish themselves offensively in the loss.
So 5 new Richmond Spiders are in the game out of this timeout. This is Alyssa Jimenez. Her pass in the paint was deflected. Carissa Antoine falls on it, and Anna Camden fouls her from behind. So you've met Camden, you've met Jimenez. Faith Alston is out there as well, number 12 in red and navy. She scored 18 points per game last year at Appalachian State. Slow start to this year because of injury. This is her 5th game played. Rose Nelson's fresh into the game for Fordham, giving up to Antoine. Now it's Amaya Ferguson halfway through the shot clock. Richmond in a zone defense. Nelson barges in and banks in for 2.
And that's a welcome sight. Rose Nelson, her minutes have gone up and down this season. Really hasn't been able to solidify her role within the rotation. Good job putting the ball down on the floor. Tough finish.
Sam Dewey and Steph Outerkirk, the other 2 new Spiders. A whistle away from the ball. It's an offensive foul on the Spiders.
And looking at Fordham on the previous possession, how about this Rose Nelson? Don't see a lot of that. Putting her head down, puts the ball down on the floor, and finishing through contact.
Precious Somashola checks in now for Fordham, replacing Irene Murua. So both coaches going deep into their bench. I think there's some confusion at the scores table on who the foul is on. I saw Felicia Young. I thought she singled number 10 across the court, but there is no 10 for Richmond. Maybe it's 13? That's Aaron Roussel in year number 6 in charge for Richmond, looking for an explanation. So there's Felicia Young making the call, and she seems to be looking at the foul line where Dewey was screening, and you see her, she is making 1-0. So I think they were just misreading the back of the jersey.
And as we saw, there's certainly a moving screen there by Dewey to free up that open 3 from Budnick.
Well, let's talk real quick. Aaron Roussel spoke after their game against Dayton and then with us yesterday about how he wants to use his bench more and get better production from them. I didn't think that meant a full line change here in this first quarter.
Well, in our conversation, he spoke about how confident he was in his next 5 and even the 2 afterwards. He feels like he has 12 players who can give him meaningful minutes.
This is Alston trying to go close to coast, but Omashola denies that. Taya Davis and Taylor Donaldson coming back for Fordham. No one is leaving just yet. Now Veljovic and Ferguson will go out. Well, if you're Fordham, don't you want to pounce on this second 5 and take advantage of Ulstrom and Budnick and Dugan not being out there?
And you got to think so. Off-made baskets, you got to press right away. You want to be in everyone's jersey, make them uncomfortable. Richmond has had issues with turnovers this season.
Second chance here for the Spiders. Off an offensive rebound, baseline cut, loose ball, and Taylor Donaldson has it for Fordham. Donaldson playing sick, hands off to Taya Davis. Omashola, the freshman, to Donaldson, the veteran, and she gets the carom to knock this game at 14.
And even despite Camden coming over with her length, Taylor Donaldson so crafty going to the rim.
First points for Donaldson. Whistle on this end. Free throws coming for the Spiders, but one more look at TD.
Yeah, this isn't easy to navigate. Camden has that length, but the float game on point for Taylor Donaldson.
And what did Bridgette Mitchell tell us pregame? Richmond is good defensively because they're long and they play correct technical defense, arms in the air, straight up. So when you encounter that, you've got to go around it or over it, and that time Donaldson did a little bit of both, it felt like.
Yeah, it's a great shot blocking team, but what they do best is just altering shots, making shots more difficult in and around the lane, and that's something for Taylor Donaldson. She's going to have to expect seeing that double come, especially when she drives downhill.
This is Faith Alston at the free throw line, rimming out, missing both. So we stay tied at 14 with 3 minutes left in the opening quarter. Nelson going baseline, shovels to Antoine, try to step through traffic, it couldn't. It's Donaldson deep in the shot clock. Omashola's got two. Antoine can't get it off. It's a shot clock violation. Good defense there from Richmond.
And we just spoke about the length of this Richmond team, and that's what makes it so difficult. Dribble, drive, penetration. There's so many tall, big bodies out there, just difficult to decide what you want to do.
Richmond breaks the press nicely. Camden's open on the wing. Instead of reset for Alston, they swing for Outerkirk. Trying to look around Rose Nelson. Davis, the knockaway. Outerkirk trying to shovel it down low. And the arrow belongs to Richmond. The Spiders will have 9 to shoot. And here come the first 5 for Aaron Russell's Richmond team.
You don't normally see 2 platoon changes in one quarter as, again, good defense by Rose Nelson getting down as she forces that tie up.
And his bench conversation, our bench conversation, it was part on him that he was maybe over-trusting and over-relying on his first 5 players. And they've played a very tough schedule. Before league play, they had 3 straight games against SEC opponents. So part of it was him just not going to that bench, but they also needed players to produce when they got on the court. It's a little bit of a two-way street. And at the very least, that 5 held its own for the most part in that 3 minute or so stretch on the floor.
And it's something for Coach Russell to kind of compare and contrast. You have players like Faith Alston, who played a major role at App State the previous season and can give you good minutes, could even start if you wanted to, as right here, good defense, but Taylor Donaldson not giving up, sticks with it.
Second chance points for TD. Fordham leads. Dugan down the lane, bouncing for Budnick. Tic-tac-toe from Olstrom, and then eventually it's in the hoop.
It's just great high-low action. That's what I love about Dugan and Budnick. When they're at the elbow, they are a triple threat to either put the ball down, pass, or put up a shot.
Some space for Rose Nelson. Doesn't get the roll. It's a Dugan rebound. Final 70 of the opening 10 minutes. Sweeney beats Davis. Cut off by Antoine. Swung for Olstrom. And a long rebound was in Antoine's hands. Knocked out of bounds by Dugan. It's Fordham basketball. Wilson Saltos and Veljovic will come back in for Antoine and Murua.
And for the most part, Richmond has gotten great shot selection, especially out of kickouts, open threes. Just haven't been able to knock down all of them. They're 2 of 6 right now. But on the other side, I talked about forcing Fordham to take jump shots. They're 0 for 4 from 3 right now. So Richmond doing a good job daring Fordham to try and beat them from the outside.
Rams are 8 of 12 from under the arc to have 16 points, and Murua's got 10 herself now, and another Fordham lead here late in the quarter.
And this is just a different Irene Murua, more aggressive, more committed down low. She's had a fantastic start.
Well, double attention tonight. She's on the cover of the game program, and she was your player to watch, so she knows we're looking at her.
A new year, new Murua.
That three spins out. It was a good look from Dugan. Shot clock is off, and Davis is lucky that was knocked out of bounds. That could have been an interception and an empty trip for Fordham.
Yeah, we talk about unforced errors. That is one of them. Fordham has the last possession with 15 seconds. You don't need to throw that dangerous outlet to Stasi Veljovic. From there, Taya Davis could have easily just reset, run your last possession, go from there.
Davis leaves for Ferguson, who throws in to Donaldson. A lot of contact down low as Veljovic drives. Double clutch couldn't hit. Olstrom with 4, with 3. Sweeney gets a look from midcourt, and it's in and out. That one from distance, but that's the
thing. They're going about it the wrong way. As far as he's concerned, they're hunting another A-10 championship, and that's what everybody in the conference should be focused on.
I had a partner on both radio and TV who disdained like defending and reigning, returning champion, because last year's championship applies 0% to this year. You don't start the game with a 10-point lead. Things aren't easier. Last year is last year. That was Aaron Russell's point. Like, we have to start from scratch and go and find more wins and more titles.
Yeah, and right there, good offensive work there is Ali Sweeney getting the layup in the paint to go.
Amaya Ferguson on the handoff to Stasi Veljovic, the Canadian freshman who throws one away. Taylor Donaldson was the intended target. Not sure if TD went one way, Veljovic went the other. Either way, that's the mistake that is in particular driving Bridgette Mitchell crazy.
Yeah, for Veljovic, really getting more minutes as a primary ball handler, bringing the ball up the court. Some growing pains that you're going to see from the freshman.
But it's those unforced mistakes that they just can't have. Budnick underneath, finds some space, but not a bucket. Gets her rebound, missed that one. The third tries down, and Addie Budnick walks away laughing at her bench.
Huge smile on her face. 2 offensive rebounds, and right there, nice job to alter that floater from Donaldson.
It springs Sweeney, and the bounce, an easy 2 for Katie Hill, and a great start to the second quarter for the Spiders. The first 6 points in 80 seconds. Ferguson skyward. Rams still don't have a 3. Veljovic the offensive rebound, tipping it to Donaldson. A third look for Fordham. Murua's 3. Wilson Soltos an offensive rebound. She's tied up, and it's Richmond basketball.
And the effort for Fordham there, multiple offensive rebounds. They came into today averaging over 14 offensive boards a contest, and Emma Wilson-Saltos right in the middle of it as Coach Bridgette Mitchell gives her some appreciation for it. Just great work, just weren't able to finish it, and that jump ball favors Richmond.
The problem is there's not enough points on the back end of those offensive rebounds. Now, Coach asked for 3 points per offensive rebound pregame. That might be too much to ask, but you certainly want a few more second chance points than offensive rebounds, and right now that's not the case for this Fordham team. Budnick sets her feet. Another 3 that kicks out. That rim unkind to the Spiders in this opening 20 minutes. Bridgette Mitchell made multiple quick changes here in the second quarter. Nelson and Omashola back out there as Davis waves Donaldson off the wing. Moore was underneath with Dugan looking in the other direction. Irene's got 12.
That's another instance where Richmond ball watching just a bit too long, and a good job by Mura to backdoor again, catch this Richmond defense slipping.
Dugan this time all net on the triple. So she's a +1, I guess, on that exchange. Lost her guard on defense, hits the 3, and now Davis throws one away.
And it just becomes so difficult when you have 2 bigs like Dugan and like Budnick who can stretch the floor and shoot threes. Now for players like Precious Omashola, Irene Murua, they're not used to having a guard that far out on the perimeter, possession in and possession out. It really does wear on you over the course of 40 minutes.
Addie Budnick has 9 points, basically at her season average already, just under 10 a game. A run out for Donaldson. Good hands by Omashola. It's Davis scooping no. There's an offensive rebound knocked away from Murua, and it's off her to the Spiders.
Great hands there from Richmond as Irene Murua looking to the officials for a potential foul. So we'll get another look at it. Taya Davis just putting too much on the layup. And right there between Budnick and Hill, both players have hands in there, and it goes off the knee of Murua.
Davis harassing Sweeney. And then a little too much harassment in the eyes of Scott Perkins brings on that whistle. Sweeney picks the screen to her left. Olstrom on a flare to the corner. Another three for the Spiders. They're off and running here in the second quarter. The lead's 8.
Perfectly executed, as you noted. Dugan comes with a perfect flare and right in the corner pocket. That's Olstrom.
It's a 12-2 start to the period. Omashola barges in, and that's an offensive foul. Dugan drew it. And the roll will continue for the Spiders.
And that's what you do when you're undersized going against taller defenders. You want to get a little bit more physical. Right there, Omashola using that off arm and that forearm to push off as it'll warrant the offensive foul there. And for Fordham now, that's 6 turnovers. They only had 2 turnovers in that first quarter. Now a lot more sloppier, and we're seeing Richmond look a lot more in rhythm than what we saw in the first 10 minutes.
It's a 12-2 start to the quarter after they won the second quarter against Dayton on Sunday by an 18-2 count. That gave them a 23-point halftime edge. And Sweeney, under duress against Berry, shuffles the feet and gives it back. Turnover number 6 for Richmond. Rams are 1 for 4 on this end in the quarter and still don't have a three-pointer tonight. Backdoor cut and a knockaway by Jimenez. A clean strip after Donaldson lost her coming off the arc. And now Olstrom walks, although she disagrees.
And second instance we see now on the opposite wing where a pump fake and putting the ball down on the floor. Rachel Olstrom gets caught shuffling her feet, and Aaron Roussel just not happy. Again, unforced errors from both teams here in the first half.
Although that time he was arguing with the official. He took over the fight from Olstrom. Donaldson for 3.
And coming off that screen over to the wing, screens on the perimeter are going to be so crucial for Taylor Donaldson to create separation to put up shots.
Rams within 5 over the top to Dewey. Dugan was open, drives around Berry. Good cutoff by Rose, but instead it's Olstrom to knock down the triple. They were missing those in the first quarter. They're not here in the second. 3 of 4 from deep. The lead's 8 again. Davis penetrates and will shoot free throws, the first of the night for the Rams. But she will shoot them when we come back to the Bronx. Midway through quarter number 2, 15-5 so far in the frame for Richmond to lead by 8 in the Bronx.
DeChico & Sons is your grocery destination for curated specialty products, delicious store-made meals, and an exceptional shopping experience. Founded in the Bronx and run by Fordham graduates, we have proudly served our community for over 50 years. Explore our gourmet departments, including an authentic Italian bakery, premium meat selection, fresh produce, and personalized catering services for any event. DeChico & Sons, quality first.
We all have our own financial stories, and one of the biggest chapters is buying a first home. At Ridgewood, we're dedicated to providing straightforward pricing, affordable rates, and an easy online application.
If it were me, I'd go for the fixed rate. But the adjustable rate mortgage is looking pretty good too.
Get started today at ridgewoodbank.com.
This is our moment. We gotta take the chance to shine. The right time to own it. We're gonna reach and touch the sky. So let's make it count for the world to see. And show that we will rise. This is our moment. We gotta take the chance to let it shine.
Richmond Spiders are known by what we do.
We take the lead. And we go the distance.
We write our own stories. And we make the headlines.
We prepare for success. And we deliver when it counts.
What could you do?
What could you do?
What could you do at Richmond?
The Richmond Spiders boast a top 30 three-point offense. They got some bad rim luck in the first quarter, but now the ball's going down here in the second.
Yeah, it was a slow first 10 minutes for the Spiders, but since then, they have locked in. They've made 3 of their last 4 threes, and something concerning there, the dribble drive penetration, the ball movement, that is getting Fordham's defense lost in the sauce, and you don't want to have it be that way. Richmond, once they get going from 3, it's tough to be on the other side, especially with Fordham. They can't match 3 for 3. This is not the type of game that you want to get into if you're Bridgette Mitchell, considering that Taylor Donaldson, who's made the only 3 for Fordham tonight, she makes nearly 70% of the Fordham Rams three-point makes this season.
Spiders have 5 threes total from 4 different players. They also have 9 assists on their 11 baskets. Taya Davis gets the roll on her first free throw. These are the first free throws by any Ram so far tonight. Davis back in the starting lineup this evening. She makes them both. Her first points of the night, along with 4 assists. And the Rams press off the free throws. No trouble for Sweeney and Dewey. And now Olstrom in the corner. Rams can reset on defense now. Dewey, an Illinois transfer, heads baseline against Rose Nelson, throws it away. With all due respect to Ray Bullock, he is away at the moment. He made the catch along the sideline, one of our 3 officials tonight.
Yeah, partner, I'm actually a little shocked at how that possession played out. Rachel Olstrom had Irene Murua on a favorable switch right on the perimeter and went to Dewey instead of just taking Murua straight up.
Murua has a game-high 12 for Fordham. Rachel Olstrom leads Richmond with 10. Here's Donaldson feeding Irene on the post. Got low on Dewey, had it knocked away by Olstrom, but she throws it back to Davis, who finds Kayla Berry for 2. A long 2 for Kayla Berry, who has had limited offense over the last handful of games. But that jumper has Fordham within 4 as Dugan takes on Rose. Dewey swoops in and gets the putback.
Great job by Dewey crashing the boards. Irene Murua has to put a body on someone, box out, doesn't, and Dewey able to get the easy putback to go.
Richmond's +2 on the glass tonight. They've got 5 offensive rebounds. One of the things they don't do well offensively is crash the glass. They're number 333 in America. Just 8 offensive rebounds per game, but 5 already with Davis answering.
Yeah, and they dominated Dayton 41-25, and they had 10 offensive rebounds. And the win is another job. How about Kayla Berry and the energy that she's brought the Rams? She's been everywhere, and nice job there as both teams head back.
I think I agree with Rachel Olstrom again. I'm not sure she walked on the right wing a few possessions ago, and that call was that she touched this after Kayla Berry did. Now, you're saying she did.
I believe so.
Okay.
It did look like that right hand. It might have went right off that.
She's defending Nelson. Now it's Davis crossing twice on Sweeney. The step through. Fordham will keep it. Knocked away from Irene Murua. And after a full line change in the first quarter, just 4 subs at this change here for Richmond. So now they're 5 on the floor. is Budnick and Ulstrom with Camden, Hill, and Alston. 13 to shoot. The inbounds pass was for Berry, and it was kicked by a Spider. So now that shot clock goes to 20 for Fordham.
And partner, you think that the mass substitutions would bother your opponent, but Bridgette Mitchell goes just as deep into her bench as well. So her players are not going to feel the attrition, just like Richmond is. These are two teams that like to go deep and really conserve energy.
Davis off the handoff, scoots in for two more. It's a big second quarter for Taya Davis. Her Rams within a bucket.
Nice turnaround game, only 7 minutes in the loss to UMass. Looks more at full strength and has been very aggressive hunting her shot. More good defense from the Rams.
Donaldson will get the steal and the two, but Rose Nelson made that happen, hounding Ulstrom in front of the Fordham bench. We're tied late in the first half.
The man-to-man defense has been the difference here in the second quarter. Fordham has just been so much better getting into the jerseys of Richmond and just making it that much more difficult to put the ball down.
Budnick gives up to Hill halfway through the timer. Hill had it knocked away by Donaldson. It finds Alston. She finds Ulstrom, and she finds three.
Multiple times we've seen a broken possession for Richmond, able to maintain, and someone wide open, the wrong person wide open for three. Right there, Rachel Ulstrom makes them pay.
13 points, 3 threes. Kayla Berry up and under off the give from Davis. These are two defensive-minded teams playing offense tonight.
Yeah, the three-point shot working for Richmond, and as for Fordham, the backdoor cut has been the saving grace.
Tough catch for Camden, 6 to shoot. Budnick around Berry. Little floater is pretty from Addie Budnick.
And when you have that size and you're able to put the ball down on the floor, it just makes it that much easier as Taylor Donaldson contested three. But how about Murua and the work she's done on the boards?
Davis finds some space, spinning from Alston, stepping through the lane and dropping it in.
Taya Davis, quicker than a hiccup. That first step, she is having her way, and she's carving up Richmond's defense.
8 points, all in this quarter, plus 6 assists for Taya Davis. Ulstrom in traffic turns and scores. The lead is 3 again for Richmond. Final 45 of an entertaining first half here in the Bronx. Shot clock at 20. Rams could have gone quicker here, but they don't. High screen for Davis. Shows off the handle, could not step through traffic this time, and it's an offensive foul.
And this time, Faith Alston able to stay in front of the quick Davis, and from there, stay stationary, and draw that charge. As again, both teams making these mass substitutions. Partner, is this a hockey game, or are we watching basketball?
It's Fordham's turn this time. This is 4 new Rams, now 5 new Rams. This is about as defensive a lineup as Bridgette Mitchell can put out there. Camilla DePoole's in for the first time with Antoine, Harris, Viljovic, and Omashola. Maddie Dugan is back in for Richmond. Here's Sweeney on the point. Shot clock is off for the Spiders. They've led by as many as 8 at 31-23. But just a 3-point lead with the basketball, holding it seems for the last shot of the quarter. Veljovic riding Sweeney, and Bridgette Mitchell disagrees strongly with Felicia Young. Now, Coach Mitchell was saying Sweeney was using her arm. I just thought Veljovic had position, period.
It just looked like good on-ball defense, no call, keep playing. Officials didn't see it that way.
With 7 seconds, it comes into Budnick. Ulstrom up top, they run two at her. It's at 2, it's at 1. Hill got it up and in. They'll check it, but I think and Irene Murua, who will come right in front of us to throw in, start this third quarter.
Yeah, 12 points, 6 of 9 from the floor in 18 minutes. Really on the way to having potentially her best offensive game of the season.
Only 1 rebound, though, from their leading rebounder. They need more from her on the glass, especially defensively, to make the Spiders go one and done, but that will help for sure. Donaldson gives it up. Murua puts it down, and we've got a 1-point game.
Man, Taylor Donaldson attracts so much attention off the ball that Irene Murua just easily able to backdoor cut and get an easy look at the paint.
Budnick skips it. And now has it back, top of the arc, 12 to shoot. Dugan runs the baseline and gets spotted by Wilson Soltos.
Much needed rim protection. Nobody on this Ram team has over 10 total blocks.
A chance to lead for the first time since early in the second quarter for Fordham. A quiet first half from Shea Harris. She has it deep on the wing, gets that screen. Wilson Soltos rolls. Harris front rims the jumper. A rebound for Ulstrom.
And if you're Richmond, you will take that. If Fordham dries the shot clock, and if they're going to take their time, it works out for you as a defense.
Ulstrom in traffic finds Hill. Has it back, corner 3, front rims. Tipped. Donaldson wants to run. Spinning through traffic. She slows things down smartly. Richmond struggled in their third quarter against Dayton. 15 of 17 shots, just 6 points, to momentarily let the Flyers back into that game after they led by 23 at the break. Dugan bumping with Moore, allowed Sweeney to knock it away. Empty trip for Fordham. Up ahead, it's Ulstrom. Fought twice about a 3, didn't take it either time. Low for Hill. Dugan cuts, wide open, lays it in. Wilson Solto, Davis, the miscommunication leads to an easy deuce.
The big-to-big passing for Richmond has been so clean. In the first half, Budnick and Dugan had a combined 7 of the 11 assists for Richmond. However, though, Richmond basically canceled it out with 11 first-half turnovers, which is why the deficit is what it is.
Taya Davis sparked Fordham's second quarter rally, scoring all 8 of her points in that frame. Donaldson from deep, off back rim, battling for the rebound. Eventually it's Budnick, and then Wilson Soltos knocks it away. Donaldson bumps and scores.
Emma Wilson Soltos keeping that possession alive, and Allie Sweeney trying to take the charge, but just too small as Taylor Donaldson gets to the spot before her.
Aaron Roussel wanted whistles on both, twice on the other end for Donaldson running over Sweeney. I think also, too, for Wilson Soltos, the knockaway. But they let Donaldson score on this end defensively for Fordham. Shea Harris gets the personal.
Yeah, and Taylor Donaldson lets Allie Sweeney know she's just a little bit too small down there to handle her.
That's 11 points, 5 of 10 shooting for TD. Under the weather the last couple of days, didn't really practice. We're not sure if she would start, how much she would play, but she has started and played well. Sweeney hacked and scored. It's Hill, and it's a chance for 3 for Richmond.
Katie Hill had the switch on the smaller Taya Davis. Great job identifying that by Dugan. Good entry pass. Taya Davis right on her back, and Kayla Berry just comes way too late on the contest, and now Katie Hill will look to complete the and one.
And that is a concern into this game for Bridgette Mitchell. Richmond forcing switches that end up with them having a big on a little, and it hurt Fordham there.
Yeah, and aside from Allie Sweeney, the rest of this lineup goes over 6 feet.
Murua down low, and that is last touch by Hill, pinballing off of Taylor Donaldson. Nelson along the baseline. She walked. Good defense by Budnick. Feet set, waiting for Nelson had to step around, and that's what brought the whistle.
Hey, we see some good drives to the basket from Rose tonight, but right there, trying to use that hop step, and it's normally easier for you to shuffle your feet, trying to stop and go back up, and the refs catch it.
This Richmond defense is so technically sound. They hold you under 60. It's a good field goal percentage defense. They defend the arc fairly well, but they don't take the ball away, and they don't foul you either. They just play straight-up defense and make you miss shots.
No, they're smart, they're patient, and over the last few possessions, we've seen Fordham take the shot clock going into the last 10 seconds. That's not something that's going to be sustainable. If Fordham's offense wants to stay productive, you've got to attack quickly. You can't let the shot clock bleed out.
Hill is low off the inbound. The give from Sweeney, and the Spiders have a 6-point cushion.
And Katie Hill, someone who plays on the wing at her size at 6'1", even against a big like Irene Murua, still has a matchup advantage.
Carissa Antoine in the game for Fordham. Feeds the wing and Donaldson, trying to shake Sweeney. Tough fallaways, way too strong, but it falls to Murua to spin in left-handed.
And she's looking for the foul. Went reverse to use the rim as a shield, and a lot of contact there, still able to make it in.
Sweeney and Davis bumping on the far side. Over the defense to Hill. Into Nelson. Underneath it's Dugan. Sheds Antoine but can't score. And a strong rebound by Rose Nelson. This is a physical game. Not a lot of whistles. Richmond expected physical play from Fordham. Nelson runs over Dugan, and that's an offensive foul. Nelson disagrees, but again, that's about Dugan doing the right thing, getting to the baseline first.
Yeah, just allowing Rose Nelson to dribble the ball, be a little out of control. Right here, coming from the wing, Dugan's just got to meet her and beat her to the spot. Does just that, and that is an offensive foul. Rose Nelson, I've liked what she's done dribbling and taking some initiative, but right there, just a little out of control.
2 points and 2 rebounds for Nelson. She only played 3 minutes at UMass. Already in double-digit minutes today. Midway through the third quarter, Olstrom shoots over her, misses badly, and that's tipped out by Jimenez, who just came back in for the Spiders. Alston is out here as well, replacing Sweeney and Hill.
And partner, we've seen all of the bodies come in, but for Richmond, just 2 bench points. Fordham's only got 6, but I think for Coach Roussel, definitely wants to see a little bit more from the bodies he's putting out there, especially someone like Faith Alston who can fill up the cup.
Rams had a lot of bench points on Sunday because Donaldson didn't start and scored 25. Murua backing in on Budnick to step through. No roll. It comes back to her, and she can save it to Nelson until Olstrom gets in the way. Davis on the recovery halfway through the shot clock. A drive and a kick and a 3 from TD.
And Faith Alston's going to learn very quickly. You have to close out right away. You cannot give Taylor Donaldson a breath of space.
Dugan goes right by Nelson and scores through Antoine.
How invaluable is that? A big who can put the ball down and dribble like a guard. Carissa Antoine just gets lost there.
Richmond by 3, more than halfway through the third quarter. Timeout on the next whistle. The knockaway there by Dugan. Head up for Alston. Screens free up Budnick to the left wing with 12 to shoot. Here's Olstrom on a curl, going back middle, and another Rose Nelson rebound. Long stretch here without a whistle. Donaldson almost got knocked over by Taya Davis. Murua got free down low, sheds Dugan, and got hit on the arm. And finally, everybody can catch their breath. 90 seconds past the scheduled timeout. There's the swipe across the left arm. The free throws for Fordham after this timeout. It was a 3-point game at halftime. It's still a 3-point game with 3.5 to go in the third.
What was that?
I don't know.
What's wrong with Daddy?
He got infected.
Hurry! He's coming! I'm scared.
That's not Daddy anymore.
Rated R. Only in theaters January 17th.
The best of college basketball every Saturday on ESPN.
The 2025 NCAA FCS Championship Game, Monday, January 6th on ESPN.
To the end zone for the touchdown. Oh, my goodness.
Yo, guys, you ready for the NFL playoffs? I got some ideas.
What you got, Chad?
High-stakes football needs a heightened experience. Weather in 4D.
And here comes the snow.
Feel the elements. Let's put cameras on every player. Hibachi vendors.
What do you want? Shrimp. Okay, right up.
A third Kelsey brother. Pitcher in pitcher. In pitcher in pitcher.
I've been pitching that hibachi thing for years.
So you guys like my ideas?
No.
It's time to get in the game and sign up to ESPN Plus. NHL on ESPN Plus is back. Enjoy 1,000+ out-of-market games, exclusive matchups, marquee NHL events, and so much more. That's hockey on ESPN Plus.
This is an ESPN Sonic blockbuster.
I take the first shot, you keep it coming. We know a lot about turning nothing to something.
He is must-see television every time he puts that uniform on. College basketball, it never disappoints.
How fun is this?
The best of college basketball every Saturday on ESPN.
You ready for the NFL playoffs?
What you got, Chad?
Let's put cameras on every player. Weather in 4D. Hibachi vendors.
What do you want? Shrimp. Okay, right up.
So you guys like my ideas?
No.
Shame on us for not mentioning this before late third quarter, but there is Fordham royalty in the gym tonight. One of the best players in Fordham women's history, J.J. Radice, is longtime Richmond assistant, the associate head coach now. There she is in the middle of your screen.
Yeah, she's been at Richmond with Coach Roussel all 6 years, was named the associate head coach back in September. And during our conversation with Coach Roussel, I had to ask about JJ and just their journey together every step along the way. And as Aaron Roussel put it, she has just been everything that you'd want on your staff. She's a former player. She understands what her players need in terms of development. And she's just been someone that you can trust, someone you can confide in, someone you can talk X's and O's with. She's been that really right-hand person that you need, every head coach needs. And it's just good to see after 30-plus years of coaching for Janine Radice, now JJ, an associate head coach. And who knows, maybe one day that might change.
Well, that was my next point. Nobody has more respect for her than you.
Yep.
It's as if you're related. I mean, every time we talk about potential job openings around this league and others, you keep mentioning her name without even knowing if she wants to be a head coach. But you're out there petitioning. You need to find yourself a D job so you can hire her.
Perhaps, again, when you're one of the greatest players in your program's history, there's a lot of knowledge, a lot of IQ there. And I get why Aaron Roussel is so high on Janine Radice, as Richmond can't make that three. The top of the key, it'll go out of bounds.
That kind of yearbook page you saw at the beginning of the package was from her junior year, which was the 87-88 season. And maybe you didn't catch all of it, but one of the notes says, current leader in three-point shooting, 68%.
Mm-hmm. Again, certified bucket was J.J. Radice, without a doubt.
Average 23 a year, which is still the single-season mark in program history. And there's a nice plaque has multiple wings outside the Fordham locker room as Stasia Veljovic cans a three, and Fordham leads for the first time since early second quarter.
Much needed. Taylor Donaldson had made their only other three, and finally someone else gets into the mix.
Rams outscoring the Spiders by 5 here in the third. Ulstrom left it short. So Richmond struggled from deep in the first quarter, went 4 for 5 from downtown in the second, and now they've missed all 4 triples here in the third.
And they're all good looks, partner. The shot selection from 3 has been just fine, just haven't been able to knock them in.
Veljovic has it again. Now it's Donaldson in the corner. Entry feed, Irene to the right hand. And again shows the finesse to spin it in. She's got 16, 18 points, and Fordham's up by 4.
Fancy footwork puts the moves on Rachel Ulstrom, and I love the counters that Irene Murua has in her post game.
Rams are 19 of 31 from under the arc. This is their largest lead of the game. Sweeney's got an answer, the New Jersey girl for Richmond.
How about Allie Sweeney? 55% shooting from the field after going 0 for 4 in that loss to Texas.
Fordham by 1. Veljovic driving into traffic, wild off the backboard, pulled down by Ulstrom, and Sweeney, as always, head up, pushing tempo. Donaldson reaches in. Allie Sweeney was a bench player last year, averaged only 1.2 points per game, 14 assists. Grace Townsend ran the point and ran it well for the Spiders last year, but Sweeney was along for the ride, saw the system, was in practice, minutes off the bench, big games in March, and now she runs the show.
Oh, it plays a big factor. Grace Townsend, one of the best point guards in the A-10. You get to learn from her, become an understudy, and knowing the system, being here, knowing what Aaron Roussel wants to do on both ends, just for her and for Rachel, who was coming off the bench. It's really been 2 seamless transitions into the starting lineup.
The Sparta, New Jersey, 2 state titles at Sparta High School. She cans both free throws. She's got 10 points. 3rd time this year in double figures for the sophomore. Averages 3.7 assists per game. That is 9th best in the conference. She leads the conference in three-point percentage at almost 53. Not a volume shooter, but a good one when she takes it. Davis pushed back by Ulstrom, goes to the crossover. Now it's Donaldson's turn. Davis not a jump shooter. She drives it. Murua underneath, pumping. It's knocked out of bounds. 5 to shoot for Fordham.
Yeah, backdoor cuts have been a premium for the Fordham Rams, but great job there by Dugan sniffing that out and getting the rejection.
Another Antoine Davis deep in the shot clock. She's not going to get it off. Shot clock violation. Antoine was open right away off the inbounds, top of the key. That might have been their best look of those 5 seconds. Budnick waiting. Dugan takes over. Ulstrom has position on Davis, who tried to sell the charge, but went down too easy. The clocks are almost identical here, so Fordham can be patient. They were down by 8 in the second quarter, down by 3 at halftime. They just were up by 4, but 7 straight Richmond points. Irene's low, and again, she fights one up and in. 20 for Murua. Sweeney finds space and just missed that triple. 2 near buzzer-beating threes tonight for Allie Sweeney.
Type of second option that Bridgette Mitchell wants alongside Taylor Donaldson.
Forget the Midas touch. How about the Posadas touch? I think this is 2 or 3 in a row where you've pinpointed somebody pregame and they've gone out and put up big numbers to make you look very smart.
Well, I mean, they don't give these jobs to just anybody, so luckily I've done my part.
It feels like they do sometimes.
Hopefully not over here in the Bronx.
The fourth quarter begins with Shea Harris knocking one away, and then Rose Nelson completes the takeaway. Back comes Fordham, down by 1, a brief lead late in the third quarter, and then 7 straight Richmond points. Teardrop from Taya Davis. She's got 10, and Fordham leads again.
Love the approach. Addie Budnick is playing drop coverage, so she's not going to step out for that pull-up jumper or floater. Taya Davis wide open.
Budnick was open, didn't shoot. Now it's Ulstrom on the right wing. Richmond went 1 of 6 from 3 in the third quarter. Donaldson knock away, and a somewhat late whistle is going to be a personal on Donaldson. Her second. She's the first, or excuse me, the second Ram with multiple fouls. Kayla Berry's got 3 on the bench. Richmond, not surprisingly, has only been called for 4 fouls through 3 quarters, they have committed the 12th fewest fouls per game in the nation, 13.4, so they're ahead of that impressive pace. Dugan spinning, twirling, and scoring with the left hand against Murua.
And we talk about post moves. Maggie Dugan tells Irene Murua, all right, you've got to move, I'll pay you right back. Great post work we're seeing from both teams.
Rose Nelson tied up, but somebody was reaching in. Now, one official was signaling jump ball. I thought another had his arm in the air for a foul, but the jump ball was going to be the call, and Fordham keeps it on the arrow.
Yeah, it appears the sideline official had the foul and right on the baseline before the replay ends. He makes the motion for the jump ball.
Donaldson off the back rim, front rim, side rim, and in.
That's not a carnival rim, but it's a shooter's touch, and Taylor Donaldson now up to 16 points.
Entry pass to Dugan to Ulstrom, and that's an easy 2 for the Spiders.
And when Rachel Ulstrom is matched up against the smaller Taya Davis, you're going to see her backdoor cut every single time, and those entry passes just that much easier against the smaller defender.
Davis into the paint again, hitting again. The lead changes hands again, and Taya Davis has 12.
7 assists, 3 assists away from a double-double.
Donaldson does the hard work. Nelson gets the rebound. Nelson bumping with Budnick. Swings it to Donaldson. Just missed from downtown. That would have been a big 3. Instead, it's Richmond down 1, coming the other way. Sweeney hesitating. Scoop shot and the harm.
And partner, it feels like whenever Richmond's needed a basket here in the second half, Allie Sweeney, their point guard, has been the one to get downhill, get to the rim. And how about this, taking the contact from Rose Nelson. Huge play, and now Allie Sweeney looks to finish up the 3-point play.
And if she does hit the free throw, she'll match her career high, which she scored in their loss to number 18, Tennessee. That was the stretch we mentioned back in the first half. They had number 6 Texas come to the Robins Center. They lost that game by 11, but they held the Longhorns to their season low points. Then they lost to Tennessee in a tournament in Florida by 20-plus points. But the next game, they thought they had Alabama beat in the fourth quarter. Let the Tide off the hook. Donaldson along the baseline, ran into Budnick. And then smartly pulls her hand out, not to give the frustration foul. Dugan on Omashola. Olstrom doesn't take the 3. It's Hill in the corner. Olstrom driving now, and Nelson got a piece of that, I believe.
A great rotation. How about Rose Nelson coming in and rejecting Rachel Olstrom?
Davis waves away Nelson. Harris hoists. Shea Harris has 3. And Fordham's back on top.
Partner had only taken 3 shots all night. Missed all of them, but finally one from the wing gets going. And although Shea Harris has not shot the ball well from the floor in the last 3 games, 42% from downtown as a whistle here on Taya Davis.
Little hip check from Davis along the sideline. She's saying she did nothing wrong as we look at Harris draining the triple.
And again, Maggie Dugan on her, doesn't want to step out all the way. That's a lot of space for Shea Harris to knock down the tray.
Sweeney and Davis, this is a good battle. Veteran guard for Fordham, sophomore guard for Richmond. Neither backing down. Now Donaldson's on Sweeney. Harris almost still stole that. It's Olstrom driving. Now it's Dugan putting it on the floor. Hills along the baseline. Olstrom down the lane into 2, and Nelson the denial again. A whistle against Richmond. Dugan's call for this foul.
Partner, we noted the sporadic minutes that Rose Nelson has had recently, but in this matchup against Richmond, against a taller team, her size, her defense has really been a huge factor for Bridgette Mitchell.
Davis driving again, scoring again over Sweeney. Fordham by 4. It matches their largest lead of the game, but it doesn't last long thanks to Dugan. The straight-on triple, and then a timeout from her head coach. It's a 1-point game again, middle of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Precious almost has to come out and close out. Maggie Dugan just too good of a shooter to leave wide open at the top of the key. And Fordham and Richmond going back and forth. What a fun one we have inside Rose Hill Gym is right here. Maggie Dugan wide open, splash. Fordham up by just 1.
The 2025 NCAA FCS Championship game, Monday on ESPN.
Tap into the game and your people. Tap into an entire world of sports.
For the love of football, derbies, ultras, and Humba, and every match on ESPN+. For the love of Bundesliga, exclusively on ESPN+.
Any questions?
How did you become the Capital One Bank guy?
You mind? I've always been passionate about no fees or minimums on checking accounts.
How do I get your job?
Hard work, dedication.
I met the Capital One Bank guy.
It's like Mr. Jeter said, hard work and dedication.
What's been the highlight of your career?
And that have to be
bank guy.
Helping people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Aren't you in the Hall of Fame?
And didn't you live in space?
What's in your wallet?
With ESPN Plus, catch live NFL games. Plus,
let's go to the tape.
NFL shows from some of the biggest names in the game and exclusive expert analysis. ESPN Plus equals more football. Stream now.
NHL on ESPN Plus is back. Enjoy 1,000+ out-of-market games and so much more. That's hockey on ESPN Plus.
This is an ESPN Sonic blockbuster.
I take the first shot, you keep it coming. We know a lot about turning nothing to something.
He is must-see television every time he puts that uniform on.
College basketball, it never disappoints. Oh! How fun is this?
The best of college basketball every Saturday on ESPN.
To the end zone for the touchdown.
Oh my goodness.
This is TGL presented by SoFi. 24 of the best players in the world, no, the universe, pitted against each other 3 versus 3. 6 teams in a first-of-its-kind arena. We added shot clocks, mic'd up players, playoffs, overtime, and you get to watch it all on ESPN, baby. Keep up. It's golf.
You ready for the NFL playoffs?
What you got, Chad?
Let's put cameras on every player. Weather and 4D. Hibachi vendors.
What do you want? Shrimp. Okay, right up.
So you guys like my ideas?
No.
This is an ESPN Sonic blockbuster. Whoa!
This is star power from the jump.
The best of college basketball every Saturday on ESPN.
It's time to get in the game and sign up to ESPN Plus.
Aaron Roussel, Richmond's head coach, on the floor. Last-minute instructions to his 5, which right now are Alyssa Jimenez with Olstrom, Dugan, Hill, and Bud. Richmond had themselves up by 8 in the second quarter, and it felt like they were prepared for liftoff and to maybe get out of Fordham's reach. But the Rams made this a 3-point game by halftime. They have led on multiple occasions here in the second half. They're up by 1 right now with the basketball.
And these some big minutes with Allie Sweeney on the bench. She's been arguably their best player in the second half.
It's Harris. It's another 3. 2 of those in the quarter for Shea Harris. And Fordham leads by 4 again.
All it took was to see one go in. Shea Harris, the confidence booster, rises up, knocks down a second tray.
Fordham has not been ahead by more than 4 yet this evening. And a foul coming here on Irene Murua, which will send us right back to a timeout. But Shea Harris all of a sudden becoming a factor from downtown. The Rams keep scoring, and they lead by 4 with 4:46 left in the Bronx.
Right this second, at some diner somewhere, I'll have a... Someone really wants a soda. But that same someone doesn't want to be like the only someone to order a soda. Embarrassing. Yeah, she's looking at you.
Yeah, I know the struggle is real, honey, but so are all these other...
What if there were a better soda?
Hun, get a poppy. It's a soda with 5 grams of sugar.
Okay. Okay, so this waitress is a genius.
Can I get one too? It's time to get in the game and sign up to ESPN Plus. Listen up, hockey fans. NHL on ESPN Plus is back. The hardest hits, the dangles, and of course, the semis. You gotta be kidding me! It's not real! Enjoy every second of 1,000+ out-of-market games, exclusive matchups, marquee NHL events, and so much more. That's hockey on ESPN Plus. For the love of football, derbies, ultras, and Humba, and every match on ESPN Plus.
Nothing like in the Bundesliga.
For the love of Bundesliga, exclusively on ESPN Plus.
Hey, college basketball fans.
Your favorite teams and conferences
Are on ESPN Plus,
You get a stellar slate of in-conference games.
including the Big 12, Atlantic 10, and many more.
Sign up now and catch your favorite teams.
For the love of football, derbies, ultras, and Humba, and every match on ESPN Plus.
Nothing like in the Bundesliga.
For the love of braces and hat-tricks.
With a belter!
Belters and wonder goals.
Oh, that's a wonder goal!
Number 9s and the Torschützenkönig. For the love of the Invincibles. Leverkusen, unbeaten champions. For the love of Bundesliga, exclusively on ESPN Plus.
NHL on ESPN Plus is back. Enjoy 1,000+ out-of-market games and so much more. That's hockey on ESPN Plus. NHL on ESPN Plus is back. Enjoy 1,000+ out-of-market games, exclusive matchups, marquee NHL events, and so much more. That's hockey on ESPN Plus.
Partner, I don't know what the line was on this game, so to speak, but Fordham was the underdog coming into this game. Richmond had an A10 best 35 net ranking. Fordham's was 185. There's a lot of basketball left, but the Rams a 4-point lead, 4:46 to go, in position for a fairly sizable upset here this evening.
Yeah, they've got 4 minutes and change to try and figure it out, but behind Irene Murua, 22 points, 1 point off her career high. She's had a battle with Addie Budnick and Maggie Dugan.
Olstrom off the inbound, got to her left hand, but couldn't score around Shea Harris. So defense from her after a couple of triples. Here she is back on offense. Davis, Nelson, Donaldson, and Murua, the other Rams. Donaldson wants Harris, finally takes it. Davis gets low again, but into some big bodies. Nelson's got 8. Tough pass, and the Rams get a beneficial whistle. It's Dugan on the reach. That's 3 on her.
There's been a lot of heat behind those passes from Rose Nelson. She has not been afraid to really thread the needle and get that ball inside the middle of this Richmond defense.
We've seen a lot of basketball from Rose Nelson. I'm not sure she does anything gentle. She is a hard-nosed player, doesn't score a lot of points, but having one of her more impactful games tonight after playing only 3 minutes in Sunday's loss at UMass. Shot clock's at 5. Davis into the lane, and Dugan found her. And that's 4 on Dugan with 4 to play and 3 on the shot clock, which is why Aaron Roussel is frustrated, hands on his head on the Richmond sideline.
Because that's exactly what they want. They want the shot clock to go down to the last 3 seconds and have Fordham really have to work in the half court. But Taya Davis's quickness has really given this Richmond defense fits, and she's been able to get into the lane and either draw fouls or get easy buckets for herself via the floater.
Davis makes the first free throw, and then the second. Perfect from the stripe tonight. 15 points, 8 assists. Make that 16 for Davis, and Fordham has its largest lead of the game at 6, and they press off the made free throws.
And that's something Bridgette Mitchell told us that they wanted to do after made free throws, go right into a press.
Not made baskets like normal, free throws instead. Sweeney does not get the bounce and then knocks it out of bounds to Fordham.
Another good look at the rim for Allie Sweeney, just putting a little bit too much spin on that ball. Taya Davis, how about Taylor Donaldson stepping up just enough to alter that, and that ball goes off Allie Sweeney last.
Sweeney gets a break. Alyssa Jimenez, who's a very good defensive player, replaces her. Largest lead tonight for Fordham at 6. Donaldson and Harris again! 3 fourth quarter triples. Fordham's up by 9.
Shea Harris is activated from long range.
And now Dugan lost it against Donaldson. This is Harris without numbers. Fordham averages just 62 points per game. Richmond only gives up 57. The Rams have 74 with Nelson missing. And Hill spinning into the front court. It's Olstrom. They don't mind Hill shooting from there. They mind Olstrom. In and out. Hill rebounds. Budnick, excuse me. She'll get the free throws. 2:47 on the clock. And Fordham by 9.
How about the Rams needing every bit of it? Shea Harris woken up in the second half. 3 huge triples as the Ram bench explodes. And all of a sudden, Fordham has themselves a 9-point lead.
You know, you mentioned the 3-point shooting splits on this roster. Taylor Donaldson knocks down nearly 37% of her threes. The rest of the roster shoots 20%. Fordham had only made 57 threes as a team coming into this game, and Donaldson had 33 of them. Tonight, they've hit 5 of 14. Not a great percentage, but good for them. And these huge ones from Harris.
Yeah, more importantly, timely shots. Doesn't matter when, but at the biggest moments, Shea Harris has stepped up.
It's a 7-point game after the free throws. 2.5 to go. Davis in and out. Harris in and out. Dugan had some space. Budnick tries it and hits it. Left her hand up for good measure. It's a huge 3 from Budnick, and we've got a 4-point game and a timeout.
Richmond needed a response. Their best Addie Budnick steps up to the plate. And how about it from the top of the key, knocks it down. As we'll look back at the possession before, Shea Harris getting another 3 from the wing to go down. But how about the big-on-big work? Maggie Dugan, the dribble handoff, and Addie Budnick knock on the 3. It's a 2-possession game, and we're getting down to the nitty-gritty inside Rose Hill Gym.
So Budnick now has 16 with 5 rebounds and 4 assists for Richmond. 19 for Olstrom and 14 for Dugan, plus 7 assists for number 44. Murua still leads Fordham with 22. Donaldson and Davis have 16 apiece, and Harris has 9 on the 3 triples as Aaron Bell tries to avoid what would be one of those bad losses on his team's NCAA resume.
And Addie Budnick, if they're going to want to come back, it's going to start on the defensive end. And Addie Budnick, she's got 4 blocks here tonight. She's been that rim protector. Fordham wants to get to the rim. Richmond needs a couple of stops.
How many more big shots does Fordham have in it? A team that normally struggles on offense, but has not tonight. Shooting 55% so far, and Davis, a lazy pass, lucky to keep it against Dugan. Another one's deflected, and Donaldson gets drilled, and that's the end for Dugan. That's going to be her 5th foul. So she's done with 2 minutes to go.
And I get it. It's a broken play. Taya Davis, 2 bad passes. So Maggie Dugan, it's a 50-50 ball. You're trying to go all out, but she doesn't see Taylor Donaldson to the corner of her eye, and Taylor gets to that spot before Maggie Dugan, and that looks like it's the 5th and final one. Another look. Taylor Donaldson gets the ball first. I get it. Maggie Dugan, you're playing with hustle. You're trying to get that ball, get back out on the break, but gets there too late, and now Richmond down one of their best bigs.
Fordham also gets the shot clock to 20. They'll be as patient as they can be. Davis out of trouble to Harris. Harris to Murua. Looking for free space. Finds it. A new career high and a 6-point Fordham lead.
And with Maggie Dugan off on the bench, fouled out, they go right down low to Murua.
Budnick driving against Harris. Gets the roll. And she'll get a free throw. Bridgette Mitchell half dropped, half through her marker board on the Fordham sideline.
Doesn't seem to be a lot of contact there, partner. Obviously, Addie Budnick, so dangerous being able to dribble, having that solid handles, but just seemed like a bang-bang play. Maybe a no call, just let the basket go.
I think Budnick got hit on the head at the end of that. That's the signal Ray Bullock was giving to Bridgette Mitchell as he explained his call to her. The 3-point play makes this a 1-possession game. 1:37 on the clock, as you can see. A deflection and an Olstrom steal. A chance to tie the game for Richmond. Alston starts the option. On the wing for Alston, mid-post, it's Budnick against Murua. Gets through and scores. It's a 1-point game, and it's a Fordham timeout. 1:07 on the clock. 5 straight points for Richmond with the steal in between.
Yeah, and we hadn't seen Richmond really press at all tonight, but after they made basket right here, good job by Budnick getting around Murua. They press, and again, before that timeout by Bridgette Mitchell, Aaron Roussel's squad ready to press again. They forced the initial turnover on Taya Davis, and now for Bridgette Mitchell, there's one question that you got to answer. Can you break this press? If you can't, Richmond is going to get back in this game, and they will come away with a victory. Fordham has to get this ball over midcourt.
The particular kind of conundrum right now for Fordham is Taya Davis is their best distributor, but she's also their smallest player, trying to navigate all of these arms and legs that Richmond can throw at her right now.
Yeah, she's got 3 turnovers and comes in second in the A10 in turnovers per game. So as good of a passer as Taya Davis is, you got to take the good with the bad. She's going to try and force some things, going to try and pass through tight windows, and you just got to hope that first and foremost you get this ball over midcourt, and from there, you got to initiate productive court offense.
Rams have 3 timeouts left. Richmond has 2. Bonus on either side, and the Spiders have the arrow. Cross this time for Davis. Dribble handoff for Dodson. Under a minute left in regulation. This one been better than advertised. Harris goes low this time and will get free throws. Just couldn't spin it over the rim, but a good job to draw the contact.
Yeah, partner, I'm shocked that they backed off and didn't continue with that full court press. And how about the identification from Shea Harris? Has the smaller Faith Alston on her, so goes right to the basket and draws the foul. And now huge free throws for Shea Harris, who's had a magnificent second half shooting.
10 of 19 on the season from the stripe. Her first free throws today. We haven't had updated stats in a few minutes courtside. But the Rams have been solid, if not perfect, at the free throw line tonight as Harris gets both to reestablish the 3-point lead. Another Richmond timeout. They've got 1 left. They've got the basketball. They've got plenty of time. But They won't admit it, but they are surprised to be down right now, fighting for their lives at the moment.
Yeah, this was not the formula that Aaron Roussel had coming into this game against a Fordham team that really looked down and out against UMass. And for Richmond, what they did defensively against Dayton only scored 10 points at the half. They held them to their lowest season total. But on the flip side, Fordham has taken on the challenge of going up against the defending A-10 champs. And it's what I noted to Aaron Roussel in our conversation. Teams are going to give Richmond their best shot. There's a bullseye on this team's back. Whether it's a new season or not, they're still the defending champions, and you've got to expect that every team in the A-10 is going to want to give you their best shot in the return.
The non-power conference teams that Richmond has played this year have struggled to get into the 50s. Number 6 Texas scored only 65. Fordham's got 78 on Richmond right now, playing defense with the lead. Budnick into Murua. Murua knocked it away. Harris to Irene. And Fordham calls for time. There's 36.2 seconds on the clock, and the Rams have the basketball and a 3-point lead.
And Irene Murua has given the Rams her first signature game here at Fordham. She's been fantastic, and down the stretch, having to guard either Maggie Dugan or Addie Budnick, she's had to take on that challenge defensively, and then on the other side, she's given Richmond all they wanted, then some. Irene Murua, her best game as a Fordham Ram.
The 24 points, a new career high for her. One of 4 Rams in double figures. Donaldson and Davis have 16, 11 for Harris. We'll go through, no matter how this game ends, we'll go through a lot of this stuff post-game. But there are a lot of numbers in this box score on both sides that don't add up to Fordham being in position to win this game, but they're in position to win this game. How does Richmond handle this defensive possession?
I'd have to think for now, Rachel Olstrom, who's really had some struggles with her shot, you want to be able to get something going quickly. And I think between her and Addie Budnick, you want to have that 2-player pick and roll, maybe get something going. But this press, first and foremost, this is something that can get you an easy layup very quickly.
They're going to play straight defense. Alyssa Jimenez just told Felicia Young, we're playing defense. We're not trying to foul, so nobody called a whistle, overreacted to contact. Rams get it across. 18 to shoot, 25 to play, and another Fordham timeout. So each side now has one. Both teams are in the bonus, and the Spiders have the arrow, but the Rams have the basketball and this lead.
And I think the biggest question now for Aaron Roussel, there's going to be about 6 seconds left on the game clock. Should Fordham be unable to make a shot? Do you want to wait that long? And with only 6 seconds left, if Fordham gets an offensive rebound, if a ball gets deflected, tapped back out, you lose even more precious time. So I'd really be interested just to see what happens here. It may be a little too early to go to the free throw game, but you might try a quick trap, blitz whoever's running at the top of the key. If that doesn't work, I don't know if you're comfortable enough only having 6 seconds left in regulation should you get a one and done.
Rams have not missed a free throw tonight. They are 8 for 8. Donaldson's their best free throw shooter on the season at 82%.
And Taya Davis, with her speed, she's been the difference maker. She's made 6 of her last 7 shots, all of them around the rim.
Rose Nelson will throw it in from in front of her own bench. Olstrom with the long arms defends. Second option is Harris. A quick double. Donaldson is fouled. So they play a little defense, and then to your point, they couldn't let too much time come off the clock, so they give the foul, and now it's free throws.
Yeah, Fordham just too good this season in terms of offensive rebounding. If you're Aaron Roussel, you don't want to take that chance. You're down 3. Fordham came in shooting 63% as a team, but as you noted, down the stretch, they've been money from the charity stripe.
And Donaldson right on cue, nails the first. She's their best scorer, 82% from the line. She's the one player you didn't want to foul in this situation, but they had to. And she makes them both. Nothing but net, and the lead's 5. Dewey replaces Hill for Richmond. Sweeney's already been back in the game. she'll be the inbounder. Shot clock is off, 17 seconds to play. Richmond's down 5.
Got to be looking for a quick 3 here for Rachel Olstrom.
Jimenez had it knocked away. Donaldson was standing on the baseline, though. She read the pass perfectly, but just ran out of real estate.
And there's a reason why she averages almost 3 steals a game. Great anticipation in the passing lanes. Almost sealed the victory.
3 seconds off the clock, accomplishing nothing for Richmond. Dewey got it ahead for Budnick. Budnick down low. Was that tipped by Nelson? Jimenez didn't make a play on it, thinking that Nelson touched it. No one has made a call yet, right? And they're going to take a look.
Well, give it a look here. It looks like an impulsive throw by Addie Budnick. Not sure why she tried to take this risk with Rose Nelson right there, pretty much playing free safety. And from there, that ball gets deflected off Rose Nelson and off Jimenez there. Inexplicable from Addie Budnick. You just don't see her make mistakes like that. I don't know why she decided to go for the entry when they needed a 3 first and foremost.
Jimenez was kind of open, but Nelson in between, and Jimenez, it appears, got her hand away in time. So that should be off of Rose Nelson. It should be Richmond basketball, but there's 5.5 seconds left in a 2-possession game.
They can only do so much. Again, if you can get a quick 3 for Olstrom or Budnick, play the free throw game, see what happens from there, cut it to 2. But again, I am shocked that Addie Budnick, instead of stepping up for the 3, goes for that entry pass. Also, Rachel Olstrom was standing in the corner, didn't even come to go for the ball or hunt for the ball. Just a very confusing transition offense there in such a crucial spot, knowing that you need 3 to at least make this close enough to continue the free throw.
Fordham 185 in the net ranking. Richmond 35, the best number in the Atlantic 10. And the Spiders very much in danger of losing on this Thursday night in the Bronx. Different groups of players, but they haven't won in this building since 2010. And whenever voodoo awaits them here in the Bronx, might have bitten them one more time. Way back in the second quarter, they got hot from downtown, and the lead all of a sudden was 8, and it felt like they were ready to take off, but they never did. They led in the third at halftime. They led in the third quarter. They've led in the fourth, but the Rams keep fighting, keep knocking down shots, and now they've been protecting a lead for a while, and they are almost at the finish line. We are still looking at this play. It appears that the ball grazes a Rose Nelson finger. Now, I don't know if they're having issues seeing the replay or if they're still deciding what they're seeing. But there's the hand, there's the ball, and I think that touches Rose. I mean, the ball doesn't change in any way, but it does look like Rose's hands do. And I'm far more confident that it doesn't touch Jimenez.
We're not seeing the full replay, but we can agree that ball went off the fingertips of Rose, and it appears Alyssa Jimenez takes her hands away just in time to avoid the deflection.
I also don't know, I don't think they ever made a call to begin with, so I'm not sure what we're working off of here, what irrefutable proof we need in either direction, but this is taking a while for Ray Bullock, Scott Perkins, and Felicia Young to decide. Felicia wanted a piece of my PBJ pregame. I thought we became friends and she'd come over and give us an explanation here, but we're kind of in the dark at the moment.
I mean, if you got another PB&J, I'm sure she'll love to explain to us what's happening right now in this review.
I was a gentleman. I offered a whole untouched half of my sandwich.
You had a homemade PB&J. I brought an Uncrustable, so there you go, man-made versus manufactured, but I'm pretty sure you would have taken an Uncrustable too every day of the week.
I had to make one because we've eaten our way through the Uncrustable supply at the Bogish house.
Shout out to Jake Bogish, who's a avid Uncrustable fan.
Yeah, yes, I think most 11-year-olds are. So we have some kind of decision. And again, the thing that we don't know from our vantage point, I don't know what call they're working off of to begin with. Nobody signaled Fordham or Richmond basketball, so I don't know if we're upholding a call, overturning a call. It's going to be Richmond basketball. So they're calling this inconclusive, which means they did at some point decide it was Richmond basketball to begin with. It'll stay that way, and they add a second to the clock.
You got to think, you got to get a quick three-point look, whether it's for Budnick or for Olstrom. You got to put one up within the first 2 seconds of this inbound.
Jimenez is the inbounder. It ends up in the corner. Budnick's three is good. Harris was careful not to foul as she followed her in the corner. Budnick hits it, and we are not done yet.
Great ATO set up by Aaron Roussel. Nice little screen there to open up Addie Budnick. And Shea Harris was in her jersey in the corner, but great players make big plays right here with Shea Harris draped all over her. And for some officials, that could have been enough contact to warrant the shooting foul, but Addie Budnick, a clutch shot, and now Fordham back in the same position. They've got to get an inbounds. They will get fouled, and now they head back to the free throw line to try and close things out.
The officials at the scorer's table again, I think making sure that the clock is good, but if we can get a second look from the other side of the court, Budnick was working along the sideline. I don't know, watch her left foot on the catch was tight to the line, but I think she's okay.
No, it's certainly close. And again, just a tough shot in the coffin corner.
No, she's good on that end.
Yeah.
Plenty of court between that foot and the sideline. And the clock ends up at 4.2. Fordham has called their last timeout so they can advance the ball into the front court. Addie Budnick up to 24 points. Her coach told us yesterday she doesn't need to be our leading scorer every game. She just lets the game come to her, see what we need. But today they needed 24 points. They need more, but they needed the 24 to date.
Yeah, and Aaron Roussel said for the people who think that Addie Budnick just starts off slow, that's not what the case is. She adapts. She reads the defense. She gets stronger over 40 minutes, and she's had a great second half, now up to 24 points. Her and Irene Murua, 24 points apiece. As I noted earlier, this has been a great 1v1 matchup in the post.
Nelson again is the inbounder at the Fordham bench with Olstrom doing the jumping jacks in front of her. It's into Harris, and Sweeney right away gives the foul. Less than a second comes off the clock, and Shea Harris will go to the free throw line. She is 2 for 2 from there today. She has 11 points all in the second half, 3 threes and those free throws.
Yeah, they only attempted 2 free throws in the first half, 8 here in the second.
And the first is off back rim, so Richmond at worst will need a 3 to tie. She missed them both. Rebound Jimenez, timeout Richmond with 2.7 seconds for now on the clock. Rams had not missed a free throw until those from Shea Harris.
They were a perfect 10 of 10, but when you get down to these situations, palms get sweaty, may get a little tight going up for those free throws, and unfortunately, Shea Harris goes over, and now after a great ATO setup, the previous position by Aaron Roussel, you've got to think he's got something drawn up. The only question is, does he go for the win?
On the old adage is right on the road, you go for the win.
Correct.
But we've also seen them run plays inbounding to get shots at the rim. Now, they're going to be inbounding from the hash mark on the sideline, so you'd think this would be something from distance. The officials now have gotten to the scorer's table just to make sure 2.7 is right. It was 3.3 on the free throw, and that's a lot of times 6 tends to come off on the catch and an immediate timeout from Jimenez. So we might get a bump closer to 3 seconds here for Richmond.
And my worry, if I'm Bridgette Mitchell, if there is an ATO where it's a stagger screen or multiple action screen for either Olstrom or Budnick, if it's Dewey or somebody else, you've got to watch for that slip as opposed to the fade out. We saw Dewey fade out on that Budnick 3. Got to be careful for that slip and an easy look at the basket.
You might have noticed on your screen they did add 3:10, so an even 3 seconds for Richmond. I don't think that's enough time for a shot and an offensive rebound, but it is to make 2 passes inbound and then another pass to maybe get 2 at the rim. Hill will throw in Ulstrom, Budnick, Jimenez, and Sweeney out there. Don't forget Dugan fouled out earlier in this fourth quarter. Hill has to get it in and does for Budnick, driving on Murua. She misses, and Fordham gets the upset.